Media Network proudly presents It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Laura Mock, Maria Hartman, Wendy Ann, and Lara Brzezinski. It's All Love, a space where we open into the heart, tap into the soul's deep wisdom, and enter into the energy of love, truth, presence, and joy. It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's All Love. We are so excited to have you with us today or listening to us later. We've got the beautiful Laura without the U over here, and we have the beautiful Wendy also without a U as well. I don't want to leave you out. And I'm the Laura with the U. And we're all here together. We're all here together with the intention of bringing us all together, heart to heart, soul to soul, having those types of conversations, tuning into our soul's wisdom, inviting you all to do the same thing, having these conscious conversations together, things that are on our mind or our heart, or things that we're hearing about on a regular basis may come up. But what we love to do to start to come together with these intentions of love, being in the frequency of love, understanding what that is, how that is different than the emotions. What is the frequency of truth? The capital T, as Maria says. Oh, and by the way, our dear Maria is on a family trip. I apologize for not mentioning that, but we love you, Maria. Have fun, and we miss you, and we'll see you soon. Because when I think about the capital T, I think about Maria. And so, what is the T? What is truth? And then presence, of course. I think about all of us, but definitely Miss Wendy. And what does that feel like? And then, of course, the other Laura, joy. So I think about it a lot, is when we're in those frequencies, joy is inevitable. And so we are here to talk real and to get present with this great love that dwells within us and learn how to uncover it more and more every day. So the way we start is, maybe a little different or unique, but it becomes our normal, is to be in quiet in space. If I do it, I may have a guided meditation, and this is going to sound strange, I don't necessarily prepare it ahead of time. I just ask to be present and allow my soul's wisdom to come up. And we all have that. We all can do that. And so we're living that truth. Laura may do something similar when she does this. And Wendy, I cannot wait to see what you're going to do to start us off today in the most beautiful presence I can imagine. You are a present and a gift as well. So go for it.
Wonderful. I'm going to preface anything I say tonight. I have a nervous chihuahua just next to me. So if her little face makes an appearance, she does not do well with the 4th of July. So if she makes an appearance, she's just fine. She's probably going to feed off of our presence and our collective grounding together, and she'll probably actually settle down a lot. So what I feel called to kind of lead us into is how does that feel in our bodies? I come from a background with panic, anxiety, all kinds of things that take you out of the body and into some kind of future tense scenario. And so for anybody who's dysregulated or anxious, or if you're hypervigilant, angry, frustrated, or even if your feelings are hurt, you're automatically not in those frequencies of presence and truth and love and joy. And so how do you even, I get asked this by many people, how do you even get in the frequency? What do you mean when you're talking about the frequency of love? What does that even feel like? And so as soon as you start asking those who, what, where, when questions, you're in the head and you're in the thoughts. And so I thought I would lead us into meditation just to kind of get back into the sensory part of ourselves. So for tonight's meditation, we're not trying to chase a higher state or a higher frequency. We're trying to soften and release into a truer one, into one that's awareness in and of itself. So, I mean, we're sensory beings. That's what we're built for. We're built to sense all the time. And I think people can get a little harsh on themselves when you're thinking about achieving this state, this frequency. I have to achieve this. I have to reach this. And then once I do, I have to maintain it. And the truth of the matter is we're sensory beings, and we're constantly sensing and adapting and shifting according to whatever inputs come in. And that can shift depending on even what thought you had. So what we're going to do, I'm going to introduce us to a little exercise to tune in and see if you can sense kind of what your frequency is right now without worrying about trying to achieve some other state. So my invitation for this evening is without judgment or intellectualizing what it is you might be thinking or feeling or what happened today. We're going to begin with a simple question, and that is, what is the tone of my being right now? And so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And don't answer with thought, but drop into the body. Don't try to shift anything. Just begin to sense the outside of your skin. Sensing the outline of your body, starting at the top of your head and going down on one side, past your ear, your neck, going down your shoulder, down your side, just following the outline of your body, down your hips, your legs, the bottom of your foot, and up and around the outline of your body, down your other leg, and the other foot, and following it back up your side with your arm, and back around your head. So noticing your body, noticing where it might be connecting to a surface, and then noticing when there's space where it's not connecting to a surface. And we take a step inwards and just feel where the breath enters your body. And notice where it lands. Don't try and shift it. Just ask where it arrives. If it's up in your chest or down in your belly. There's no need to change it. Just witness where it is. And once you notice where your breath is on the inside, I want you to notice the inside of your skin. All the vessels and nerves that are beneath it, branching out like the roots of a plant, absorbing their surrounding. When you become aware of that, I want you to try and sense your tone. Does it feel heavy? Or is it buzzing? Does it feel dull or bright, spacious or tight, warm? Does it feel frantic or slow? There's no need to change it or judge it. Just witness it. Just make note of where your tone is right now. If you can sense what that is, bring it to your heart and just hold it there gently. Arriving back into your body on the inside, noticing once again the nerves and the vessels, feeling your skin against them, coming back to noticing where your body is in space, maybe what you're sitting on. And then coming back up, bringing your awareness back up behind your eyes. And slowly coming back to presence. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And so that meditation is just an invitation to notice your tone. There's the potential of a thunderstorm brewing right outside right now. Wild and beautiful. But if you notice your tone, there are ways you can gently shift your frequency without forcing, without getting into your mind about what do I have to do to align with the frequency of love. Notice where you are, because that's your truth. If you can notice your truth and your state without judgment, without feeling like I should be this way, or I should be acting this way, or I should be feeling this way, just notice where you are, and it makes it a little bit easier probably to try to align with presence or with truth or with love. You can invite some questions. You can even notice the breath, and then ask it, if my body could choose to breathe right now, how would it breathe? And just a gentle invitation, and start making a shift there. So if you notice my breath is shallow, okay, maybe I could ask it, how do you want to breathe? How do you want to breathe? And if asking for you to breathe deeper, then do that. But it's following these gentle inquiries into the body is a really lovely way to get present, and to get in touch with the fact that yes, you are a sensory being, and frequency is, we're not trying to align with something that is outside of ourselves. And so many people try to outsource to a divine exterior source, and yes, that is true, but we are receptive beings, and the divine is also within us. And so if we can get inside, feel ourselves, feel our truth, where am I right now, what am I feeling, and try to align with that, and try to align with that inner truth and that inner knowing. You can get curious. If it's not really there, what can I do to love myself more? Where do I need more of that? Just ask your body, what would it feel like if I did this? What would it feel like if I let my shoulders relax? What would it feel like to soften and not even worry about releasing, but just soften the edges of yourself a little bit?
I just want to stay there a little bit.
That's so cool.
I've known you for a long time, and that I've never experienced that.
Mm.
I've never experienced that with you like that before. Thank you. And I hope that the people that join us today and that listen later will take a moment, because that, to me, you remind me of Eckhart Tolle there. Laura, I don't know, but it's literally today. I'm not a great social media person, and everyone knows me. It's kind of a running joke. But on Instagram, I'm so proud I even know what that is. Eckhart Tolle was talking to someone, and was talking to someone about presence.
Mm.
He was in particular talking about someone about addiction,
Mm.
and it was a wide range of addiction. I will be the first to tell you that addiction looks different in different ways. Addicted to cell phone, but it's things that take us out of presence. And I'm not Eckhart Tolle, but I'm going to paraphrase. Wendy basically said everything that he said in a way. He said, I think he was being interviewed by Oprah, and he said, he's like, how do we deal with addiction was the question, and he said, lean into it. And she said something to the effect of like, isn't that dangerous?
Right.
He said, no. He said, don't push the addiction feeling away. Whatever that feeling, what that craving is, he said, if you invite it in a safe space and bring awareness to it. He basically said to turn it into a meditation, basically exactly what Wendy was just doing, gentle inquiries of like bringing it into presence with you. And then that's when I think Oprah said, and again, it's on my something, I saved it, but that's when she said, can you, again, isn't that dangerous? And he said, not when you bring a conscious awareness to an unconscious pattern, then it shifts the entire energy, and you will not be in addiction any longer. And make a regular practice of taking, and I have, like, I love me some sugar, and I can get like all sucked into YouTube thing. And I know we're making light of some of those things. There's heavier things, but isn't that interesting to have a gentle present and awareness and make it a meditation and lean into it versus pushing it away? Because Wendy, what I felt like you were saying, I'm curious, Laura, what you think. It's the resistance.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be, we should be here. And I will just say, on a spiritual path, if you're new to a spiritual path, or you've been on it for a while, especially people that have been on it for a while, I think we get caught into spiritual bypassing. I think we get caught into, I should know better. That was one of my famous things. I should know better. And I think it just brings that gentle inquiry where you don't feel pressure. Anyway, so cool. Long story short, to say, so cool.
Yeah.
Other thoughts or ideas around that, ladies?
Well, the first thing it does is it takes you out of your head.
Yes.
You shift your focus. And just this morning, I was playing around with that word focus, right? We talk about where's your focus, shift your focus. And when you are not like just in here and then, I'm going to focus on my breath, then you just stop the thoughts. And it's focusing on, am I counting? Am I focusing on the expansion? And Wendy, when you had us like do the outline, I was like, I've never done that before.
Me neither.
I'm so focused on my body, my brain wasn't thinking about anything else. And the whole leaning in, we've talked about this before, our bodies talk to us. And when there's a pain, when there's an illness, a headache, a stomach ache, an addiction, it's all the same. Leaning in is inquiring, like, what's going on? What caused this? What's underneath this? The leaning into addiction, for myself specifically, it took me over a year to quit drinking alcohol because I didn't get underneath deeply enough to, why am I choosing this?
Mm.
And I realized that it was just I call it a tool now. Alcohol's a tool, cigarette
Yeah.
smoking's a tool, doom scroll. They're just tools of self-soothing. They're tools of avoidance. They're tools of whatever. And it took asking myself, why do you feel you need this? What are you getting out of it? Like, I just kept asking questions, or what is it that you need?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Wow. Wow. Say that again.
it was asking myself, what is it you really need, want, desire in this moment? And you're reaching for that because you think it's going to give it to you.
Right.
And so what Eckhart Tolle's saying too is, people just get into their addiction and they let the addiction run them instead of leaning in and, why am I choosing this? Why is this here? How is this serving me? All different kinds of questions. No one question is going to answer, but it's leaning in and then listening.
Right.
And allowing.
Yeah.
Right.
You're allowing such a big
I
part
say,
of it.
yeah, and when I say it took me like over a year to quit drinking, it was like stop, start,
Mm.
because I just like, okay, I was able to, I heard a little, or I shifted a little, and there was that clarity of, oh, and I get to choose, right? We've talked about the power of choice. So
Yeah.
we're choosing where our focus is, we're choosing our thoughts, we're choosing our feelings, we're choosing our actions. I chose, because with addiction, sometimes you have to break the habit, like cigarette smoking, of the action as well as the chemical.
Mm-hmm.
So choosing something else, choosing where to put my focus instead. So that's a lot of what came out of this, but it's simply
Power.
wow, the
Powerful.
power of shifting your focus to your body.
Mm. And it's all when you take the judgment out of any of those words, addiction, smoking. I used to smoke way back when, and I remember I was standing outside one night. It was New Year's Eve, and I was all by myself, and I was looking at the sky, and I just got this moment of, oh my gosh, I can't quit. I'm going to be a smoker for the rest of my life, and I didn't want to. And when I decided I didn't want to be, and then I decided I was going to let myself have one if I really, really needed one. But that was the last time I smoked, because I somehow, way back when, at the age of 20 something, I chose not to be. But when you're thinking in terms of frequency, all you're doing is you're finding resonance. And the frequencies of love, of truth, and presence, they're always there. They're always within us. They're constantly there. And if we can tune in and feel where we're at, we can also feel where those frequencies are. And a choice is really just being in resonance with it. You're matching it. You're matching the frequency of presence, of truth. And then maybe those are the gateways to where you can feel love for yourself, love for others, and joy. And knowing that, think of your nervous system as your inner oracle, tuning into that and asking it, like, what body, I do that to this day, because again, just with the experiences of panic attacks, it's extremely, it's disempowering. It feels like something else is controlling your body. So getting the control back, but asking my body, checking in. What are you asking me? What are you trying to call my attention to? Because we spend so much time shoving away feelings, shoving away peaceful moments with busyness and with avoidance and with procrastination and all these things. But just checking in and, like, building on what you said last week, Laura, just the I'm here. Okay, when you get here, what am I feeling? now that I am here, what am I feeling? And then without judging what that is, can I create resonance with truth, love, presence based on where I am right now? And it's just, it's going from being contracted to being expansive.
And I feel like that key piece is like, which is, again, it can be addiction to judge yourself too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the key that I've always found that always makes a shift for me is like, I'm judging myself. And let's be honest, I mean, we're around that all the time. And then there's been that, we've talked about that before, but the confusion between our self-worth and then feedback in the world. And they're not the same thing. You're worthy because you're here, period. But that self-judgment, what I loved about it is like when you said, just feel and don't feel like you have to force anything or do anything, just notice and bring in the gentleness and the softness. And to me, that is just the ultimate self-love. And it's that love, the frequency of love is truly the healing balm for all things, like all things. And
You need
it's
to write that one down.
I swear I probably got that from a book or something. I don't. So just know I don't know who quoted
Somebody
that.
wrote it down.
But I do believe that. Like I say that a lot of times. And I think it's, and it's always great when one of your, like if you're a partner or a friend, or if you have a child and you've been saying love heals all things, and then they turn it around and use it on you, which I've had multiple times, many times. But it is that frequency that it's the ultimate. And so when we can this is what this podcast to me is all about.
Right.
I'm not trying to use it again, but it is all love. Like it is all love. The Beatles knew, man. All we need is love. Like it is all love. And that's just what you did, Wendy, in my opinion, so beautifully. Is like you showed us, you gave us an example of what it feels like. Gave us a visceral example. You honored the mind, but you focused the mind to be a tool to where, it's just that gentle presence. I don't know. Sorry, I geek out on it, but I love it.
Well, in order to shift your frequency, you have to know where it is. Everybody says, how do I align? I want to align. I want to align with this. I want to be more like this. And it's, well, before you even align with it, you have to be aware of where you are. Where are you right now in this moment? That's what presence is. And if you can be in that non-judgmental presence and be aware of what your frequency is right now. And that's different than emotion and what you're feeling. Just what is the tone of where you're at. And that's the space from where you can shift.
Miss Laura.
We got a lot of wind. I don't know about where you are, Laura, but there's a lot of wind outside my house.
Wendy and I are in North Carolina, where there's a lot of storms.
Big old thunderstorm trying to come through. So
Laura's out in Colorado.
Very nervous.
It's just hot here. There's no wind. And I just want to share. Linda put a comment in that several years ago she made an agreement with her body to really listen and make adjustments in her lifestyle, and it's led her on an interesting learning journey, and it's ongoing. Yeah.
Ooh, so Linda, I don't know if you're listening still right now or not, but like people, I know the three of us get asked how all the time. And again, part of this journey with us all together is like the how. It's not as much about the how here. It's about everything we're talking about. You have the wisdom inside of you. But I'd be curious, Linda, what do you have? Was it subtle? Was it a pivotal moment that you had an aha? What? And again, ongoing. We're always growing and ongoing. The journey. It's not a destination. It truly is the journey. And for me, that was my aha. Like when I realized I didn't have to know everything and I didn't have everything figured out, then the unknown became exciting and curious versus like stressful, because I carried a lot of anxiety and perfectionism in myself for quite a long time. But I would be curious, Linda, what that, and no pressure, you don't have to, but I'd be curious, you know, to share your wisdom with everyone else. Like, what was that for you? I'd be curious.
Well, she's typing if she's still there. I love the analogy of the smoke alarm, that when this smoke alarm goes off, it's alerting us there's a fire somewhere, something is causing smoke. That, and usually we don't want fires, right? And so if we look at that with our bodies, right, whether it's a headache, whether we're tired, whether it's an ache in our foot or our elbow or our gut, is if I lean in, if I get quiet, and I turn my focus, I put my attention on that and get quiet and listen, what is that smoke detector telling me about where's the fire? That does the fire want to get put out? Does the fire need more wood? Right, whatever it is, but
Right.
our body. So she said that how has come in spurts, mostly through her spiritual practices of visioning and meditation. And all of those, it's getting quiet. It's getting quiet, going within and listening.
And not being so scared. Like, I don't know about you all, but I know a lot of people that I've worked with, and I would put myself in this category when I was starting. I think a lot of people are terrified to get quiet because in here doesn't feel safe, because we're so hard on ourselves. We're so critical. And I definitely don't want to genderify anything, but societally speaking, when, you know, and there's lots of different challenges for everyone. But women in our societal history, right, like that, you know, proving their worth, going, different cultures, different whatever it is. And so I think even for women, and obviously that's my personal expertise, but it's, you know, that perfectionism. Am I a good enough mother? Am I good enough in any way? I hear that a lot. And I think all people experience that. But I think women in particular that I've worked with are scared. They don't believe in themselves. They don't trust themselves, and going inside does not feel safe because that has been where their worst critic has been. And I know that. I remember those days very well. And sometimes if they still pop up, that's when I call somebody and say, hey, help me out, or go back into my spiritual practices. But I love that, Linda, about visioning and meditation are the key. And you must have loved yourself enough at least to try it or to start it. That's where I feel like I'd be curious. I could ask you tons of questions, so I will not put you on the spot, but I love that. And I love the vulnerability of everyone on this call and everyone listening, because there's no judgment here. There's no judgment. Everyone's doing the best they can with what they have. That's a Maya Angelou quote. That one I remember who said.
Sometimes the body is the entrance into the spiritual journey.
Who said that one more time?
Sometimes the body is the entrance to the spiritual journey. Sometimes you become so disassociated or so disembodied or so busy, and it isn't until something starts to hurt or something starts to not work properly, and then you start trying to heal that. But once you dig into that bruise, whatever it is, it's always attached to something else. And going in, and one of the best journaling practices I do is to journal and just ask the question to my body if there's a pain. I did a free write once, and I received a whole channeled message which basically informed me that pain has a consciousness, and to ask it, what would you have me know? Ask, and I didn't even think of it that way before, but it said pain has a consciousness. And so the pain you're feeling, if you can ask it. And so if something's coming up for me in my body, I can go to my journal and I can ask it, pain, what would you have me know today? What do you want me to know? And if it's a pain in my back, sometimes it'll answer, I want you to slow down. I want you to take a minute and stretch in the morning before you get up. But we so often try to shove ourselves out of bed and out the door that we don't even check in with, how am I feeling right now? And what do I need? And not from a selfish thing, because usually the answers are very, very simple and very easy. I need you to finish your entire mug of tea, and I want you to stretch for 5 minutes. And so just engaging with the consciousness of the body and the wisdom that's within it, poor dog, is a great place to start. It's a simple place to start, getting back in touch. And then from there, you can start aligning with the frequency and of all those things, because they're already within you. You're just learning how to tune in to your own wisdom so that you can align with them.
Right.
So I want to comment, Laura, when you're talking about when we're told go within, I realized that the meditative practice I was given was using a word as a mantra. And for me, that mantra ended up feeling like a command.
Mm.
And it wasn't until, right, I had the connection of dropping to the body. I was in my head. So yeah, I couldn't get my head to be quiet. And I was like, what are you talking about? Get in the stillness. I can't. I'm yelling at it to be quiet and it won't be quiet.
What is this stillness you speak
It's
of?
like marching for peace and screaming.
Yes.
We want peace.
Exactly. So this, I love this, is that bridge of like, oh, this is how you still the mind, because you're focusing it on the body. And then once you're on the body, I'm reading Linda's comment.
I am too. Linda, you're precious.
Yeah. And we'll share in a second, but focusing on the body is like, oh, that's how I quiet the mind, not by yelling at it to be quiet, but by shifting my focus. And then that all ties into what you're saying, Wendy, about then asking the question of my body and listening and allowing. And all that does, it just opens. Yeah, I love that. My body's the oracle. So, and Linda, everything, I agree, is simple, small steps, right? When they say the journey of 1,000 steps, right, to get from here to there, is one at a time. You don't make the giant leap. And that's with our awareness, our spiritual practice. It's being kinder. For me, it was letting go of alcohol as the reward, as the whatever, with small steps. And yeah, for all of us. But I love and the other thing that I do want to say, Wendy, is that when I first found that, like, how to get into my body, I wasn't thinking of resonance. I wasn't thinking of vibration. I just was focusing on the feeling and the expansion and went, wow, this feels good, right? And then adding more information, like from people like you, of, oh, I am raising my vibration because I feel better. I am happier. I can now go out and meet the driver on the road and not get upset. Right? So, but again, all the little steps of listening to whatever that is.
And that's how you learn what your intuition is too. So many people, and myself included, because there's, 5 years ago, I would look at other people and I would be in awe of how in tune they were, and how it's like, almost for some people, it's like, is there somebody literally sitting on your shoulder that you're having a conversation with? Because I can't hear that. I thought I was judging myself. I can't hear that. And this whole journey, again, that started with the body, but getting in touch with that body, and you start to learn what is a yes and what is a no, and asking your body that when you listen and lean into your body, where does yes live in my body, where does no live in my body? And that's your opening to what your intuition is, because the body remembers, the body knows. Your body, I mean, it's been, for me, over 50 years now, it's been getting used to being in a body and responding to my environment and to experiences and things. And so why wouldn't I check in with myself first before, maybe even before I ask for guidance from beyond. What if I just ask my body first? What do I actually think about this, instead of automatically assuming that the wisdom is in the cloud somewhere? Um, we are connected to the cloud, so why don't I just ask myself first? It's like, it's literally right here. It's right here. I don't have to do as much and connect as far away. It's right there.
And I was thinking about Linda. Linda was saying she had like a major aha through a surgery that kind of opened, and we hear that all the time.
Yeah.
There's major things. It could be medical, it could be other things. But it's, to me, I think about, my experience working with people, and also my own journey of like, and so I can be a little mystical. I'm just going to warn everybody about that. But I like it. I'm a little fairy in the woods when I was little. I always thought I was. And I just remember thinking at different times in my life, even though there were things that are really hard, and it doesn't mean I don't feel those emotions sometimes now, of course. But I remember feeling like I must have set myself up with some fail safes, like to get my attention, or my choices, thank God. And this is where, that law of cause and effect, and of course, you mentioned science of mind, the law of attraction. Like, sometimes it's like, oh man, oh man. That's really probably the way I said it, with some tears or some like aches. But what a gift that is, if we can begin to make that shift inward and be like, okay, so there's something's trying to get my attention, my body, like this relationship, this job, what is trying to get my attention to help me and help me grow. And I can't quote exactly what Maria says, but she's like, you can grow a flower from mud or the soft ground. And sometimes it's our choices, sometimes it's our mindset, and sometimes it's, if you were like me, I was very stubborn, really more anxious, and it turned into stubbornness, right? Because I was afraid all the time. And so I think sometimes for me, it's like, thank you for the effect of that cause, because it gave me a fail safe to like wake up, like, wait a minute, there must be something more. And for me, I had a baby, and I feel sure I was probably had postpartum. I was the first person I knew in my generation to have a baby. No one talked about this at all. And then I was just struggling, like I wasn't happy, and not the kind that I'm not happy. It just felt heavy. And I remember a doctor who barely knew me was going to just throw some things out. And I am not pro or anti anything. I'm pro the person. So whatever the person needs is what they need.
Yeah.
For me in that moment, though, because I just was like, you don't know me. And so you don't know me, and you're diagnosing me, and you're going through this journey and you don't know. And it woke me up. I was like, wait a minute. I've got to figure out something else to empower me, because I felt very disempowered. And so that wonderful doctor, who had no idea that she frankly ticked me off that day, because I was like, you don't even know me. And you're saying this, and this in 5 minutes of talking to me, because I just sat there and I cried. But she was such a gift for me, because it woke me up to like, maybe I'm more than what I think I am. Linda's on fire.
Yes. I just want to clarify that the SOM, for anyone listening, is science of mind teachings, science of mind and philosophy.
But Linda, we agree. Every cell in our body is vibrant and alive. And if we
absolutely love is there are so many different modalities out there, different ways of coming at this same. So at our ages, when people say, I just learned this, right? So the sound healing, or the healing in music, or sound bowls, or water, or right, the acupuncture, acupressure,
Yeah.
chiropractic, all of these things have to do with our bodies and vibrations and tuning in
Frequency
and frequency,
and
and
regaining resonance. Yes,
to
yes, yes,
think of
yes.
how amazing it is that I don't even have to go out and use any of those tools. I can simply do it, the meditation that you offered.
Right.
Just go. I loved how you said, feel where your body is touching something,
I know. So,
then notice where it's not. I've never had someone say, notice where it's not touching anything. And I'm
same.
all of a sudden, I'm like, I am paying attention to the whole surface of my body.
Right.
Wow. And then, just
Yes.
feeling and, so simple, so powerful, and it's right at our fingertips.
What a
Don't
gift.
need to go find anyone, time or a bowl. Just go within.
Right.
Listen.
And I mean, again, all those modalities, I know you built this way too. Like sometimes that's the opening, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, is the opening. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a sound bath. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't, you know, but I love, there's a lot of crickets all of a sudden out here.
You got the cicadas going.
I love that when I have a practitioner that is doing a sound bath or a Reiki session or acupuncture, what I love about the ones that I really prefer to work with, they're all saying, hey, sometimes we all need a helping hand. Sometimes we may be in so much, we may have PTSD, we may have something triggered. We may have something triggered, and I'm going to be here to help you as a practitioner. But I also know that you have all this inside of you, and I'm going to help you regulate. I'm going to help you regulate. Everybody on this phone call, we love being there for other people, to help people remember their empowerment. I tell people, it's our job to work ourselves out of a job, right? Because you don't need us in the way you think you need us. You have it inside. And every now and then, I have just needed a little support if I'm like, but it is the opening to invite you to know that you are so wonderful and you are so powerful. And if you didn't feel it when you were younger, you get to experience it now. And all of us are here really to support you on a journey. And I hope everyone can feel we love each other. Laura's a new friend of mine, but we love each other and we don't judge each other. And like if I'm having a moment, um, I can pick up that phone and say, "Hey, I'm feeling, I'm having an old thing from childhood where I don't feel like I'm powerful." And I forget that I can go inside. And then sometimes it's something someone says, or like what Wendy's meditation was. I'm like, oh, yeah, I am that. I am that, what she just modeled for me. I am that too. So anyway, get on my high horse. I'm going to mute because the crickets are loud.
That storm might be heading your way. Those cicadas are a whole thing. You come and you live in the South, and there's all kinds of noisy things and bitey things and sneaky things, and
someone just commented, "Only love remains."
Yeah,
because that's God,
beautiful.
right? That's divine. That is sacred.
Well, it's always there. We just forget to tune in.
Right.
We forget to let love lead. We forget to let love guide. We forget to connect and feel that. And I just love, I was sharing with somebody today about the difference from letting the outside in versus living from the inside out.
Yes.
And when you're connected and you feel that love, that's the power. And then what comes out is love and compassion and kindness and support and understanding and all of that, as opposed to, oh my gosh, you just did to me. Then quite often is the pushback. So a simple reminder, go within, tap into that love, that power, and come from there out.
So true.
So I'm looking at the time. We're almost 10 of. So what would we love our listeners to, if they haven't already, take forward from our conversation today?
Ooh, take forward. I like that. Um, my big take forward is before you try to shift your frequency, before you even get into your head and judge, where am I? What's going on? What's happening? What's hurting? What's all of this? It's just to tune into where whatever it is that's existing right now, and then get curious. What if questions are so much? They can be so powerful to help you shift. Um, if you become aware of where you are right now, and just what is the tone of my being right now, and that's the place that you can create that shift from. And it kind of takes everything else out of the equation. Even if somebody's, coming at you with opinions or judgments, or somebody said something harsh, or you if you tune in, it takes all of that out. It takes it all away. Then that's the ground that you're doing from.
Your frequencies are so high, it made my screen blurry, and I don't know
I
why.
can see it.
Um,
Well, at least you're still here.
It's me because I'm the least techie here, and I don't know why. My Laura, say that again. I like the way you said that. Take forward. Is that what you said?
Yes. What would we like them to take forward from our conversation?
Being gentle with yourself.
Mm.
We're not. There's not a blame game here. What I think, and the reason I think there's these modalities and all of us and these podcasts, all these books and everything, I think we are trying to shift out from here to here because we're seeing the effects of so much here on lots of different levels. And so to be gentle with yourself, that we are all in this together, and we weren't encouraged by others that did not know what they didn't know. And so we're doing this together. And so be gentle on yourself. And I will tell you that was the very first thing that any mentor ever said to me.
Mm.
I literally can still hear her beautiful voice, and it became my voice eventually, because it was divine truth. She said, "Be gentle with yourself." So that's mine.
Mm.
And mine is simply, we did this whole process, but it doesn't have to take any time other than pause, take a breath, and go within. And as we did last week, Laura was reminding us, just put your hand on your heart
Mm-hmm.
and focus in there, breathing into your hand, breathing into your heart from your heart. And that simple practice of shifting your focus from here and to your breath, there's scientific studies about how that can just calm your nervous system so quickly. So in this whole long conversation, it's so simple. And the more that you tune in and listen to a discomfort, whether it's from a physical ailment or you're feeling anxious, or just pause, take a breath, tune in, ask, listen, get curious. I love that question from Wendy. Just get curious. What's going on? What insight do you have for me? What message? And wow, it's amazing how life can shift. So I just wanted to once again acknowledge that Wendy, Maria, who's not here, and Laura are all in North Carolina, part of the Vistara School of Wisdom, where they share their beautiful gifts of bringing love, bringing truth, bringing presence through different modalities. So if you're curious at all, That's their website. You can email at info@vistaraschool.com. And I came in to join them, but I work with individuals in my coaching practice, helping them to come home to themselves and learning to live from the inside out. And if you're curious at all, info@radiantjoycoaching.com. And just the last thing I want to point out is that we're on a platform. New Thought Media Network is about positive music, media, entertainment, and so much more. A place for you to find messages from different spiritual teachers, different topics, their passions on serving and supporting you on your journey. And as Linda was sharing earlier, it's little bits of wisdom and little actions, and there's so much wisdom on this platform. So we do invite you to go check that out at ntmedia.org or on YouTube, New Thought Media Network. And thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you back. We are here every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, where I am, 6 p.m. Eastern, where these lovely ladies are. And it will be one of us, some of us, all of us. Never know who's going to show up and lead the conversation.
Dog, some crickets, a blurry camera. We'll be here.
So with that, we just wish you, unless I can find what I'm looking for over here, my video to take us out, a wonderful moment of peace, love, presence, truth, and joy. Until next time.
Bye.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.